Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Daddy
Daughter
Dance. My name's Tobin Walsh. Also my co-host. Say hi to your people, Vivi.
Hey guys, what's up?
It's always my favorite part of the day. So, man, that's a slow song. And speaking of fall asleep, I think that was some of the words, and I just about fell asleep.
You were...
You know, we always go with upbeat songs, and I feel like people are gonna be like, ugh.
Stop.
Usually we bore them after 5 minutes, not after the first opening song. Yeah. So,
Funny.
what are we talking about today, kiddo?
Fears.
What is it again?
Fears.
Fears. And the reason we're talking about it is we'll start with a quick anecdote from Vivi's life. Typically these episodes come from something we're experiencing. And
What?
Vivi's in the upcoming school play.
Yeah.
So Vivi, give us the one-year lines. Deliver one of your lines, like get in character, like for real. Well, first of all, tell us what the play is, what it's about, and then get into character and deliver your line.
The play is Honk Junior.
Honk
The
Junior.
replay of Ugly Duckling.
So it's a version.
It's
It's the elementary school version of the Ugly Duckling. And Vivi, it has a couple lines. Okay, get into character. All right,
Dad, I'm telling you what to say after my line, so I can say it.
Come in the microphone.
So, okay, you have to say, I have to say, it's their party and we'll fly if we want to, and then ha ha ha, and then you have to say silence in the rings. I have to say my next line.
Size in the ring.
Silence in the ranks, okay?
Okay, all right, I'm in character. Ready?
It's their party, we'll fly if we want to, ha 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 ha.
Silence in the ranks.
Little joke, sir.
All right, so from the top one more time. Let's go again. Ready?
It's their party, but we'll fly if we want to, ha 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 ha.
Silence in the ranks.
Little joke, sir.
Oh, nice. You're pretty good. So why were you nervous about that?
Because, you know, like, it's nervous doing it in front of the whole school.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so as we talk about fears, where the subject came up is I picked Vivi up from drama practice the other day. It takes place after school. And she said, oh, I'm so scared to do this play. Particularly the first version they do is in front of the entire school. And that got me thinking, like, hey, do kids realize that fears are like a normal course of living?
Yep.
So are you getting over that fear? Like, how are you feeling about that? Because that was a couple weeks ago.
Well, I did. So we were going through the whole play today, and I had to say my line. So, like, I got better about it, but my heart beats so fast because I'm like, what if I mess up?
Okay.
Like, because there's so much going on in my brain. Like, because I had to remember the lyrics to my song for the gooses.
Okay, so you're processing a lot.
Yeah.
So you're worried about that. You're also worried about kids judging you from the crowd. You're also worried about, you know, saying the right things, right? But your line is like...
And, like, people that have so many lines, they're, like, nervous about, like, they're doing a line in a different place. Like, say, like, they had a line like that says, they put away their guns, and they say, like, oh, cat litter instead. So.
Oh, okay, so some people get so nervous that they forget lines or mess them up. So do they tell you, like, as you get ready for the play, do they, like, give you anything to do when you get so nervous, or do they just say...
No.
They know? Okay.
They don't know if you're nervous.
Well, I mean, you can tell, right? You told me the other day a friend of yours, without mentioning names, seemed pretty nervous because she had a hard time, like, making eye contact. Do you remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so this is why I wanted to talk about fears, because I think kids, you know, whether it be speaking at a school play or playing an instrument in front of people or standing in front of the class or just little things like being scared of animals or something like that, like, I think kids aren't really prepared to deal with that fear, and I think it makes them feel a little bit alienated. And so I thought maybe a good episode, maybe kids and parents can learn together, is how do you know, when do I need to worry about my kid being scared, or is it just part of life? And then how do I prepare my kid, because they're going to be scared and they're going to have fears throughout their lives. I still have fears, right? And I'm 42 years old. Did you know that? So, I mean, it's good to talk about this stuff because I think there's an undercurrent of, you know, not so serious fears. But there's also a point at which fears can be really debilitating for people. And if you let it get to simmer that much, then you're really swimming upstream. So what I had Vivi do, so again, Vivi's in the school play, and that's where the basis of this came from. But let's talk about fears. So you did some research, right?
Yeah.
What did you research?
I researched, like, the most popular fears.
Most common.
Yeah, and, like, There's
Okay.
A, you know.
So let's take them. Get your notes out and let's go one by one and see if we can. Let's think about this. You tell me what the fear is, and then I'll try to find an example in my life of where that I've come across that.
Fear number 1, spiders.
Oh.
That's my fear too. That's the most I'm scared of.
Okay, so the way I think about fears is there's fears of things. So fear of spiders is called arachnophobia. Did you know that?
No.
All these fears have like fancy names that end in phobia. So if you ever hear the word that ends in phobia, it usually means scared of something.
Say the part like you've been scared of a spider.
Oh, what I was trying to get
one
to?
for the next one.
So I always break down fears like this. There's like fear of things and fear of just like consequences or fear of situations. So this is like a fear of a thing, a fear of a spider. Yeah, I'm scared of spiders. I don't think I'm that scared of spiders. I don't love spiders. I don't know if anybody loves spiders, but what's your story?
Well, today at recess, I was running, and I ran into a spider web, and there was a spider, and someone was like, "There's a spider on your face," and I was, "Ah!"
Well, that was convenient. Just for the podcast, you ran into a spider web. That's dedication.
I'm saying your story next time. For this next one, I'm saying that story.
Okay, go to number 2.
Because I know that story.
So the number one.
I know this.
So the number one fear that Vivi researched was the fear of spiders. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, number 2.
The next one is snakes. I'm telling your story. Yeah, I think you already know what the story is.
All right, make it
okay.
brief.
So my grandma's here, and there was like an orange and yellow snake crawling up our sliding glass like door. We got in a box. Then my mom takes it all the way back.
Did you hear that, people? Like, crawling up a sliding glass door. The snake was like super snake.
And like we got in a box with a and then my mom took it like to the middle. We have a huge like backyard, and like my mom took it to the middle in it. And my dad was like, one day he was like, he noticed a cardboard box out there. My dad wasn't home today. Like we put it like down, and he goes out there because he picks up the cardboard box. A snake comes crawling out, and he screams like a girl.
I won't make any bones about it. I don't like snakes. In fact, I had a snake story. I was on a jog 2 days ago. All of a sudden, this huge black snake crosses my path within probably 6 inches of my foot, and I screamed. And there was a construction site about half a block away, and the guys looked at me like, what is wrong with you? So I had no bones about the fact that I'm scared of snakes. Now, does it cause me to change my behavior though? I don't think so.
I have a story of my own.
Okay, let's make it quick.
So there was a black racer like slithering across the road, and it scared me because we were in the car. And I'm like, Mom, there's a black racer.
Even from the
Don't
car?
let me get out.
All right. Well, okay, what's number 3? So snakes and spiders. What else? What else you got? Let's get through at least
heights.
Heights, yeah. I definitely am a heights guy.
I'm not. Like I'm.
Yeah, Vivi's not scared. None of my kids are scared of heights.
You can't go on roller coasters.
No, I'm not into it.
Probably.
I'm not into like open air heights. Like being in an airplane doesn't bother me. Being enclosed up high doesn't particularly bother me. Being open up high, I'm out. Roller coasters, Ferris wheels.
I love roller coasters. I want to go on Falcon's Fury, Dad.
Alright. Well, another one, Vivi. Let's go on. Okay, what's the next one?
Open or crowded?
Open or crowded spaces. Did you realize that a lot of people have social anxiety and fear about going into crowded spots?
Isn't that like claustrophobic?
Claustrophobic can be associated with crowded places, but a fear of open spaces too. Yeah. That's interesting. So there's like fears for everything. Okay, what's another one? We'll do 2 more.
Dogs. No.
Oh, dogs. Yeah, a lot of people are scared of dogs. So it kind of falls into the spider category.
Thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning. Yep. We have a lot of that down here.
Small spaces.
Oh, small. Yeah, that's more like claustrophobic, like you were talking about. Okay.
And there's one more.
Yep. Go ahead. Oh, germs. That's a good one. So So Vivi, thanks for doing that research. Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I only thought I only had one fear. And that's all people should have.
Yeah,
But I learned that there's a lot more fears than just spiders.
Yeah, and fears can be fears, like I said, at objects, at things, at living things, at dead things, at situations. The ones that, so I thought we would talk a little bit about this. The other thing about fears too, Vivi, is that, first of all, everybody has fears, okay? So just because you're nervous or scared to be in front of the school at your play, or whatever the fear may be that you're dealing with, or your kids are dealing with, your parents are dealing with out there, you're not alone, right? Don't you feel like everybody sort of feels the same way?
Yeah.
Some people handle it better, of course, and some people aren't as fearful as you might be, but you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you get for your fears, top fears?
Oh, I didn't look at them. I would say the top fear that I know about, so top fears from adults, I mean, maybe I just do what I'm scared about or what typically makes me really nervous. So I think adults are very scared to speak in public in front of people, but kids are too.
I have a dream.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be imagine speaking in front of thousands of people. I since I'm a writer, I do some writing. Honestly, I'm a little bit scared every time I hit publish on something I write, just because you're putting yourself out there, right? And I'm talking about myself in ways in the public arena that could be vulnerable.
I also got, like, this is also what I'm nervous about because I had to speak in front of the whole school again for a Veterans Day concert for 5th graders. Okay. So I had to say, like, a whole paragraph about what Veterans Day means to me.
Okay.
And
well, so one of the things I wanted to...
It's nervous because, like I said earlier, like, my heart beats so fast.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this, and I want to get to some of the how we handle stress and how we know we're stressed out and how we know we have fear. But let's talk about this. So, do you realize, Vivi, if you think about it, fears are different depending on what age you are. So, when I looked at, I was trying to figure out and research articles about fear in kids and what parents should do about them, and it was really interesting because as little kids, there's an evolution of fear, I would say. And basically, what they started off by saying is it's actually healthy to have this fear inside of us, these feelings of potentially being a little bit timid about doing some things. Why do you think that would be? Like, why would fear be good?
Like, I don't know.
Well, think about if you had no fear of anything, right? You would charge into dangerous situations.
Yeah.
So especially as little kids, right? If we were born completely fearless, I mean, there could be some real problems when you get like into situations you can't, because even little kids can sort of detect, even though they're a little bit more rambunctious, you can tell when they get scared, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of always retreat to the safety of their mom or dad. So I mean, fear is actually a good thing, which is an interesting point of view that I hadn't thought about before. And then what I looked at it also, so fear evolves, right? So infants, their typical fears are noises and strangers, right? When you get to sort of preschool age, it's more like about darkness. I mean, we've had a lot of that where it's like maybe night lights and doors open, hallway lights.
Like our room, because I share a room with my baby sister, and our room's so like, it's almost like it's daylight out and the lights are off. Our room's so like bright, like it's not like this room, but if we had that light on, it would probably be more light than that.
Yeah.
And then I sleep right by the door.
So what's good about you sharing these stories is you kind of feel commonality here, and there's this evolution. It's totally normal to have fear, and also it's a good thing sometimes. Now, when you're kids and you're like your age, probably up to your age, I would say, before your teen, basically all your fears are rooted in this was the article said, in the need for security, calm, and peace. So those are three like underlying feelings that you want to secure. But peacefulness, like you want things to be peaceful, calm, and secure. I think that's probably, I actually really like this article. I'll have to figure out where my resource was here.
When I think of peaceful, I think of meditating.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's fine. So then we evolved to teens, right? So I have two, what I would call pre-teens. I have two middle schoolers, and I see a little bit of this too. So teens typically worry about specific situations. So it's a little bit like your play, where it's like they worry about a certain situation rather than sort of a global problem. So they worry about a social situation or who they might sit with at lunch.
Warming.
Yeah. No, not really that. I mean, they might. They also, things that can happen to teens when they really get nervous and worried and have a real fear is they can lack the ability to concentrate as hard.
Yeah. Because
they're kind of obsessed with this fear. They try to avoid situations, so they deliberately avoid the things that is the source of their fear, which could be a problem, because if you are socially anxious, you can't avoid going to school.
Yeah.
So if you see those behaviors in your kids, or as you grow, Vivi, if you're feeling like that, you need to make sure you get it out. And then lastly, you were talking about the physical changes that go on. So when you get really fearful, what happens again?
My heart beats like very fast. Like,
Sometimes your mouth dries up too.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself, like, I know when Mom gets nervous and when I get
My
nervous,
skin dries.
like your voice might shake.
Yeah, like I mumble a little bit.
Yeah, where you go fast, or like that's a common
Hi, I'm
thing.
Vivi. I'm Vivi. I'm Vivi.
Yeah, there are definitely physical changes. They mention a couple things that, you know, on the extreme side, you can get even like chest pains, and you can get restlessness where you're not sleeping well, and then you can get headaches. You shake, sweating. Sweating is a big one too.
Sometimes I have nightmares about my fear.
Nightmares about your fears. Wow, it's a double whammy. So all these things, when you're kids, I mean, number one, fear is normal. When you're very young, fear is actually a good thing because it prevents you from doing reckless behavior. But as you get older, when you continually worry about something, it's hard for a parent like me, because I think we all kind of toe this line and said, you know, Vivi's feeling nervous. How nervous is she feeling? Do I need to step in and help? And like, I think in your case, I see you trying to combat it by just trying to practice and get yourself comfortable. And you know you're going to be nervous, but you keep working at it. So I feel like it's a healthy fear. But have you ever heard of people like almost making themselves sick over fear?
Yep.
And that's when I think parents have to step in. And what do you think parents should do when they detect that their kid's really crippled by fear?
Like, see what's making them like so fearful.
Yeah, I mean,
and like do something about it. Research. Take them to the doctor.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, more and more kids are seeing specialists, so seeing some kind of general practitioner that they can talk issues through with a neutral party. And I think that's a great thing. And I think that one of the reasons we're doing this episode is to tell kids and parents, hey, let's talk about what we're scared of.
Therapy?
Yeah, therapy. But even stopping short of that, what this article continued to say is there are things we can, like, quote unquote, non-doctor parents can do, right? Because I'm not a therapist, I don't know what to do. And if I detect that my daughter's pretty fearful about something, I want to make sure I can help as best I can, right? Or I know when the time is that I can't help anymore.
Yeah.
So check this out. The first thing they talk about is breathing exercises. Yeah, I mean, as funny as it is, it's think about it. Like, I know we joke about it. You see really funny things in movies, but the most stressful situation that your body goes through is probably childbirth for a woman. And what do they teach you to do there? Breathing. It's all breathing. So, yeah, so there is something to sort of a breathing exercise. So, Vivi, when you get nervous about your part, you may want to try a couple of deep breaths or try to do some of these techniques. Yeah.
Before, like I said, like before, like the two lines before me, I start.
Yeah, it's smart. Yeah, and you have that little mental device that says, hey, I know I'm going to start getting nervous, here's what I have to do. Or you can even detect sort of those physical cues that tell you need to kind of step up your breathing game.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at that one, but I think I should put that in practice. Okay, number 2, it says think about doing an activity like taking a walk. So that would be a good one. So it's kind of burning off your excess energy. Let's see here. There also is things that you can get things down on paper, especially when you're feeling deeply about something, in writing. I think that's a good one. I mean, obviously I do some writing on my own, and I think it's pretty cathartic, meaning when I feel bad about something, to write about it kind of gets me over it. Do you find that?
No.
You don't find that to be the case for you?
Well, probably not, because I don't love writing.
Okay. Well, I mean, as you get older, you could maybe look at doing that.
Yeah.
The other thing Vivi talked about earlier, and it says meditation.
To clear everything out of your brain.
And the more I read about meditation, the more I wish I could make time for it, or I would make time for it. Because seriously, the mindful side of meditation seems to have tons of benefits, including physical benefits, including a lot of benefits that can help even kids out. And then lastly, it talks about seeking professional help.
Professional?
Yeah, professional help in terms of going to a therapist. So in my opinion, what that means is, hey, I'm going to follow my parental instinct, and when my child can't really get over it, or these techniques aren't helping at all, it's probably time to call in a professional.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of stuff did you learn today, baby? What do you feel better or worse about having fears?
Better.
Okay.
Since I know more about them.
Okay. And so if there's kids out there, 5th graders or whatever, that listen to us, and you had some advice to give them, what would you say they should do if they feel fearful?
I would say breathing, meditating.
Talk to your parents, maybe?
Talk to your parents about it.
Okay. Because likely, I think... Writing, yeah. And I think it's likely kids have to know that parents are feeling fears too every day. We're not immune to fears.
Fears of kidnapping.
Yeah, we may not be doing school plays, but we certainly are doing things that make us scared every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's raising kids and trying not to disappoint them.
I also have a big fear.
What's that?
Like, whenever, like, I don't see a sibling, like, I, like, yell.
You do,
so my
yeah.
fear is, like, losing a sibling.
Yeah, those are
or,
pretty
like, kidnapping.
deep fears. Yeah, those are pretty deep and dark fears. But I encourage you to keep talking about it, because the more we talk about that stuff, the less sort of
Like,
obtuse
every,
it
like,
gets.
time I don't see one of my family members out in public, like, I'm like, oh my god. And, like, sometimes I love shopping, but I don't want to go to the mall because of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, it could be, if you let it simmer though and don't talk about it, it could really bother you in the future. So I encourage you to keep talking to me about it, okay?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need, or are we gonna go out in your nice slow favorite song? All right.
Stop. You're
So guys, we appreciate you stopping by again this week. We do this every week, so please watch us, give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you'd like us to talk to you,
Comment.
and what issues your kids are going through, because we like to talk about it as a dad and a daughter. So thank you for joining the Daddy
Daughter dance.
Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Underneath it all.